Thank you. All of that three, makes one out of the ones he has taught us. Please, I want us to put it down. And for people that are just coming, all his books, all the things I'm talking about are written in all his books. So we need them. Daily activities of a billionaire. Number one, setting goals. We keep hearing goals, goals, goals. Sometimes we just write it at the beginning of the year and we just forget about it. It is meant to drive us. It is not meant to be written somewhere and you just drop the book and you forget about it. You are meant to go back to it and check, okay, this is my plan. Have I done this? Have I done that? What do I need to do to achieve my goals? How far have I gone? Number two is gratitude. I know most of us that are coming regularly, we have a gratitude register. But there was another register doctor told us about. Gradually growing gratitude register. He said that register is different from your normal day-to-day register. This is where you write specific big things that you are grateful for. And you make sure you write up to 300. So when you have a big specific thing, you go to that book. You write it there, apart from the ones you do daily. Since we just started last year. I'm in number 126. Recently, I was going through it, and I find that God has done so much for me. Gratitude makes us happy. You are adding value to yourself. Makes you achieve more. Another one is affirmation that she talked about. Affirmation, visualization, silence, auto-suggestion. All of that is one. I believe we all know about that. We have exercise. We have reading. I'm just going to highlight so that we go and get books and we develop ourselves. We need to add value. We have savings. We have charity. We have early to bed. When you sleep early, you wake up early. If you have not been waking up by 4 a.m., you are missing a lot. Most people are distracted by phones. I know I'm also distracted, but I have to set limits on my phone. On your phone, you can set limits on all your apps that, okay, once I've spent 1 hour in a day on a particular app, that app should not open again for that day. I have to do that for myself because sometimes you just feel like, oh, I'm working on my phone. And before you know it, you move to WhatsApp. Before you know it, you move to Instagram. And you are distracted. So you have to set limits so that you don't waste so much time and you can't sleep. When you wake up by 4, you have 4 to 6 a.m. to develop yourself. To do your silence, to do those things that will help you personally. Because you have to work on yourself before you can work well on your business. Another one is friend audit. Who do you move with? Who are your friends? Recently, I was telling the class governor about something I wanted to do, and I said, I don't think I will do it again. She said, was that you? When she got home, she sent me an affirmation that, okay, you should do it. You can do it. And yesterday, I sent her the testimony. Because of the kind of person I'm moving with. So you should move with people that will push you. Don't sit around lazy people. Don't sit around negative people. Positive mental attitude is key if you want to go far. Stop listening to news that will make you sad. Learn to forgive. Forgive yourself. Forgive the country. Forgive the government. Forgive your friends. That you're forgiving somebody doesn't mean that, okay, you want to really associate yourself again. But it is letting go. We're told that unforgiveness is like holding hot coal and thinking it will hurt the other person. You are just hurting yourself. When you don't forgive, when you carry so much unforgiveness, you can't think straight. So how do you add value to yourself when you can't think straight? Master your emotion. Master your emotion. Learn to be cheerful. Believe that whatever anybody has done to you, believe it will pass and is a learning curve. And what do we do to our product? After you've added so much value to yourself, transfer it to people by giving them products. Most of the time, we wake up in the morning and we think, I want to sell food. There is nobody that will not eat food today. But what happens to every other restaurant outside? Why do you just want to go and join them? Why don't you ask yourself, what do they need? Where your shop is, you have about maybe 10 restaurants there, and you want to go and join. Why should you go and join them? Then you should have something different. Or if you have started the business already, then move to the evoke set, which means do something that nobody is doing. It may need you to sit down for days. You may need to ask questions. Recently, we're moving to a new market, and when my marketers come back, they will tell me, we have these challenges, Kiniko Bank is there, blah, 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 bank is there. They will be calling big banks. We don't have such money. And I sat down and I thought of it. Okay, what do they need that they are not giving them? Most times when you want to take loan from a big microfinance bank, from a commercial bank and co, they will take days. That's the ones that are fast. Most times months. And I sat down and I did a TAT of 24 hours. So you know you are coming to me, you are getting your facility in 24 hours. Very simple. It looks impossible. I told them, we put everything in place. And before we know it, they stopped complaining. Because those people that were going to those banks that would take this, they started coming to us because we are offering them something different. So their customers are not our customers. Anybody that is willing to wait for this will not come to us. So create a niche for your product. Then after you have that product, you can't keep it on your bed, under your bed. You have to take it out. You have to advertise it. It's not every product that will go online. If you are just starting, for example, you are starting very small, and you want to serve people in your community, why are you going to advertise in the newspaper? There is this mistake that we make often. A lot of people will print handbills. They will put it on the car, put it everywhere. Most times, do you actually contact them? Most times. 80% of the time, we don't contact them because they are not giving it to the people that actually need it. So when you want to advertise, look at who is my target market. You process visa. Why don't you go to where they train people for IELTS rather than just hiring guys on the road to distribute handbills? You sell food wholesale, and you are just going on the road. There are a lot of other places beside my house that will buy food now. Why don't you go to those big canteens that you think they will need it? So your advert must be targeted. Another thing we should look at is customer service. In Nigeria, we have very poor customer service, most companies. Especially when we have the customers already, we feel like we have them already and we treat them anyhow. How do we treat our customers? If you come to me today and you tell me you are selling so thing, I may not buy. But if my friend comes and tell me that, oh, she sells so thing and is good, I can buy because my friend is testifying. I have a lady that I make cake from. I've never seen her before. But somebody that met her told me about her. She said she went for a program. She was a facilitator. And after the program, the lady ran to her, gave her cake. She said, I'm a baker, and this is a slice of my cake. I've never met the lady before. my friend told me that the cake was really nice, and since then, I've been making cakes from her. So customer service is key. The money we take sometimes to other people's businesses that we think we want to go and use, we want to go and invest, or we want to diversify, put it back into your business in form of adverts. Touch your customer in a special way. That you are selling online doesn't mean you should not have personal relationship with your clients. There is a particular product that we have. We don't need to have physical contact with our clients, so we don't really do. And this particular customer, she takes loan to pay rent, to pay all sorts, and she's widowed. On her birthday, we now took a cake to her with handmade card and handwritten wishes from some of our members. She was doing small business with us. We've been doing different presentation in that school. They never called us. When we did that, that woman, she will bring people to our office. Just because we did that. So when your customers call to complain, how do you undo it? A friend of mine bought wristwatch from America and on Amazon. And when it came, he got only one. He complained to them. They said they sent the two. But they sent another one. After they sent that other one, the second one came back to him. It was the courier company that made a mistake. And he called them that, I have the third watch here. They said, keep it. Do you think he will not go back to Amazon and shop again? Some people on their site, they will write no refund, no exchange. Why? We are gradually telling our customers to go to other places. So we should put that woman touch in our businesses. It's very important. Another thing we need to do is to stimulate word of mouth marketing. You stimulate word of mouth marketing by what you do to people. Just like I said. You can introduce referral bonuses. I have another friend that she does interiors. And sometimes ago, I just referred a client. And after I referred the client, I didn't know they were going to give me anything. So I traveled, and she said, oh, that your office that you said you want to do, what exactly do you want? I told her, before I came back, she has changed my office. Because I referred a client to her. So do you think tomorrow I will not talk well about that business? Referral bonuses will help. Little things that will make people to keep talking about you. That will put you in the mind of the people. Sometimes you don't get people to buy immediately, but you buy a little part of their heart. So that when they need that thing, they will remember you. So make sure part-time you are communicating with your customers, with your prospects in different ways. Ways that will make them to keep talking about you. Another thing is we should give guarantee on our products. If you are producing something that is good, why can't you give a guarantee? Some products, yes, you may not be able to give a guarantee in quote, but find a way to make sure that your offer is irresistible. You are taking the risk from that person. I want to buy that thing, but I'm skeptical. I'm not sure if it will do what I think I want. A lot of all these seminars that we read about online, they will tell you that if you come there and you think you have not learned anything that will help you, or you have applied what they have told you and it's not working, you should come back, they will refund you. They are not joking. But most times, do we go back to collect the money? No. But that will make you to buy. So we should learn to give guarantee. Two things that I've spoken about: add value to yourself, to create wealth, add value to your customers. There is no amount of wealth that you have. When you don't have peace of mind, you have nothing. They say true wealth is of the mind, not just of the purse. So how do you have true wealth, which is of the mind? By doing those 10 daily activities of a happy billionaire, not of a struggling billionaire. So I'm going to leave you with this story, the begging bowl. One day, a king walked out of his palace and he saw a beggar. And he asked the beggar, "What can I do for you?" The beggar asked the king that, "Are you sure you can do anything for me?" He said, "Yes, I'm the king. I have everything in my charge." And he said, "Okay, I have a simple request. Fill my bowl." The king said, "Is that all?" He said, "Yes." And the king told his ward, "Fill his bowl." The ward started putting money in the bowl. And as they are putting it, it was disappearing. Putting the money, it was disappearing. Every time they are putting the money was disappearing. He said, "Bring my gold, bring my jewels, bring my diamond, bring everything." It was disappearing. And the king discovered that he was just going to lose everything. And he said, "I'm sorry. I know that I'm a loser. So tell me, what's the secret behind this?" He said, "The bowl is filled with the desires of men." So our desires, there is no how we can satisfy it as human beings. But when we learn to appreciate the small things of life, when we learn to appreciate our gradual improvements, when we learn to appreciate where we are, by being grateful every time, you'll find out that you can grow and you'll be satisfied. Thank you. Okay. Doctor is not here yet. So let me quickly add a little more. We should live our everyday like it's the last. When we live our everyday like it's the last, we try as much as possible to do more. We try as much as possible not to offend anybody. We cannot please everybody, but you try to do your best. You won't procrastinate. Most times we procrastinate. Most times we wait for somebody to come and push us. Every day we wake up, live it as if there is no tomorrow. So let me live it to the fullest. It's very key. Another thing I tell people is whatever you give comes back to you. If you give love, you get love. If you sow sadness, you get sadness. And it comes back to you in multiple folds. So when you think, I'm just trying to cheat somebody, somebody else will cheat you in a bigger way. In a bigger way. You are selling Gary and you think, let me just do a rishi to the Congo. It can't feed you. But sometimes you don't have that understanding. Another thing we should take note is charity. If we read very well about a lot of billionaires, they don't take charity for granted. Sometimes ago, doctor was teaching us, and he said, if you know the importance of charity, and for like 3 minutes, you couldn't talk. I believe he was just thinking that, how do I express myself to these people? And I learned that from him. When I have difficulties, when I can't think, when I don't know what next to do, I find somebody that I can help. However, we should be careful when we are doing charity. Help people that cannot help themselves. When you help some people, you are just making them lazy. I'm not saying which was never my field. That I can boldly say that if I go out today to go and start the same business, I will make it. She was leaving us because she was relocating. How many people can say that about you? We keep hiding our businesses like, I don't want the person to steal my idea. Which idea are you hiding? And when we pay peanuts, we get monkeys. When you don't pay well, they don't work well. So let that charity begins at home. Add a little. Now that everybody is complaining things are expensive, their salary can't buy the same thing that it's buying. So encourage them to work more, then increase the salary. It makes them happy. And of course, your business will grow. Thank you. Thank you. Our speaker today is a purpose-driven and self-motivated medical practitioner and a business leader. Is the chairman and chief executive officer of Ibadan Central Hospitals, Tolu Medical Center, Lagos and Abeokuta Academy Suite, and of course we had all the Referral now. He's an author of international report. He was a former special advisor to the governor of Oyo State on health. He's the president of Ibadan College of Medicine Alumni Association Worldwide. Welcome with me, Dr. Abib Olamitoye.
Good morning, everybody. Please be seated. For those who are just joining us, who want to sit down, come and sit down in the front. We need as many people in the front as possible. Please move forward. Move forward, move forward. Let us organize ourselves. If there's a space in front of you, you are not sitting in the proper place. Sit in the space in front of you. Move forward, move forward. Don't sit behind a vacant chair. Don't sit behind a vacant chair. Save your money. All these things we keep telling you will hear, you will not do. Don't sit. Okay. Thank you so much. You want to clap for them? Thank you. I've been blessed by the Deputy Class Governor, Mrs. Adetunji. Let's put our hands. If you have been blessed, good morning, everyone. We are happy to meet again. New things are changing. New things are coming up. I want to apologize that we could not sit in Olive Road in spite of all the bragging. But what we are looking at is comfort of billionaires. Yes, 8 years ago, we could sit where there was no air conditioner. But the skin has changed. We are not used to sweating anymore. So those were the factors we considered before we concluded that we should come here again. we want to mention, before we go to the board, about the importance of the Mastermind Alliance we have talked over and over about. How many people are still organizing their mastermind groups? A group came from Ondo this morning. They were here 9 o'clock. Where are the Ondo people? Ondo contingents. Let's clap. Ondo. Can you see? They came 9 o'clock. We stay in Badon. Came 9:30. As a matter of fact, if we were trekking from home, if we live in Monia, you will have gotten here. We were supposed to get here before somebody come in from Ondo. Ondo is beyond Ife. It's beyond beyond what again? Aha, all of those. So you are welcome today, and I always tell them that come from very far that each time we have them in mind, that the quality of the presentation, the improvement in their lives will justify the trip. The content, the practical value in the presentation. Some of the time, what you see, we preach more sermon about prosperity than what you hear. And then you're going to see that much more again in Olife Road. Seeing daily or monthly incremental improvement in the surroundings will trigger more enthusiasm, more passion than 10 sermons about Kaizen. Why do we have the mastermind? Okay, what is mastermind? About 5 people coming together. You who belong to 110 Academy, we gather 5 good friends. We buy 1 book, 5 or 4 copies, and give them. Let us meet and discuss the content of this book. It's been said in the Bible, you know, I'm an amateur in preaching business. I'm a teacher. There's a saying that when 2 or 3 people gather together, there is God in their presence. How many people have heard about that? It's also true. It's true in more cases than one. When they say mastermind, what it means is that 5 people gather together. There's a 6th mind, the mind of God. That's why they say, call it mastermind. And then the sum of the mind, individual minds. That is the whole. Now the 6 is greater than the 5. The whole is greater than the sum of the individual parts. When you sit down, and what do? You just sit down. You will have read the book. Each person will stand up and present 21 highlights from the book. Highlights. Things they don't want to forget. And then each person will now present 10 things they put to work, or they plan to put to work based on what is the book. By listening to what the other person has seen, sometimes different from what you have seen, new insight, new light will come on. And then Some of the time you'll be hearing yourself echoing certain key points. That is the power of the mastermind. Coming here every month is good, but it's a lot better when we gather in groups to fortify our presence, to put the teachings to work. That is why I now print out these things every month for people to take home free, so that you can go over and then jot what you are going to do for every slide. What am I going to do from this slide? You jot what we do. So at the end, if you have 20, you have 10, 20 actions you want to take. Coming here to listen, to enjoy the jokes, to enjoy your time is good. But more importantly, it is better to allow what you hear lead to action, lead to results. We might be having seminars here and seminars in Oliver Road later on. If we discover that this place is getting too full, we might want to say, oh, people coming from the east of Ibadan should meet in the east. People from the west of Ibadan, this is the west. So I will take the next 30 minutes to go over the meat of this matter. When we say something is hidden, it means it can be found. When we say something is secret, it means that only very few people know about it. And a lot of those few people won't talk about it. Because that is my nature. I let you know, and then let you know, and then let you know what you already know. So, today, we start with, we said that we have been going through the 30 laws of money. How many laws have we treated? 5. Clap for him. Today we are going to treat law 6 and 7. Like I told you, the 30 laws of money, my job is to use the 30 laws of money to coach business principles. So that by the time you have listened to all the 30 laws of money, the person that will get up at the end of the last law will be a new person. If you are 50, I want to tell you about certain facts. If you are 50-year-old or more, and you live in Nigeria, you have lived in Nigeria, and you are poor, it's a serious problem. If nobody has told you, I'm telling you now that it's a big problem. What is the cause? I want all of us to think together before we talk about the solution. Every problem has a solution. We know that there are over 200 million people now ready to buy whatever you can produce. And you have produced nothing. Is it not a big problem? Or you have been producing, but you do not have enough people to exchange that for money. What is the cause of his poverty? This person. That is the question. You will say yes or no when I mention each one. Will you do that? Is the poverty due to him being a wrong person? Is he in the wrong country? How many people have read the 30 laws of money? Okay, it's okay. People are doing like this. How many people have not read the 30 laws of money? Let me see. Okay. Some of the time they say the problem of our lives are hidden in the books we have not read. These are basic facts. What you conserve will grow. How many people agree with that? Anything you conserve is preserved. What you disperse, what you spend, dissipates or degenerates. It's gone forever. How many people know that once the money goes to the next person, it does not come back? Our Igbo boys in Alaba, they say goods once sold cannot be returned. How many people have read that before? They put it in the receipt. Once they give you the receipt, the money is gone. Even if the money is still with them, you cannot change your mind anymore. Okay. These are basic facts. But what you share means kindness, means generosity. What you share returns multiplied. How many people believe that? These are facts of life. Then, about money, how much is the fundamental percentage you should save? Those are the beginners. That is the beginners. How many people save more than 10%? How many people have been saving money in the past 3 years and have not spent anything from the money? That is what we are talking about. It is the things that can develop those principles, embrace the principle of conservation. Some of the time it might not work for everyone, but it works for the majority of people if you have that habit of delaying gratification, the habit of not. I told you the story when I started my first hospital in Lagos. The first week of every month, whatever we made was saved. The following month, whatever we made, the remaining we were using to run the hospital. Pay salaries, do renovations, buy medicine. That is a strategy. You can design your own strategy based on the fact that you should pay yourself first. And that we kept this money, it was little. The first week, I think it was, we were able to make about 100 and something naira. And we kept about it. We kept it. The following month. And then the money, when it became plenty, a little bit plenty, we started talking about fixed deposit. The money began to regenerate itself. That is, the money started working for me. You start by working for money. If the money gather themselves together, they will conduct a meeting. And in the meeting, you are the subject. And they look at you as and then they start, how can we make this person more of our family members? And then they move on, and they move on. I told you stories where after a particular point, around year 5 of saving that money that I did not spend, I got involved in forum. How many people have had forum finance house in Ikeja? Intercontinental Merchant Bank, number 10, Boy Street, Onikom. In those days, the Abacus Merchant Bank, pointing torch at the money. My philosophy then was one basket and wash the basket. Any of these banks that was the last bank I kept money in was the Crown Merchant Bank of Billionaire. How many people had Crown Merchant Bank? So I kept money variously in those accounts, and all my money was always in one bank. The treasury officer, I'll talk to that person. Watch out. This money must not vanish. Expect any problem, let me know. So I paid that person monthly stipend out of the profit, out of the rent I generated. At the end, 7 years later, April 1994, I already saved 34,850,000 in 7 years. What to focus on expands. What to focus on expands. Okay. Shall we go? So the key is, you see, the problem we always have is that we save and save and save and save and unsave. That is our problem. Saving gathers momentum. Once you start keeping money to it, it will increase your confidence. It will increase your morale. It will increase your mood. It will increase, anytime you think about it, you have reason to be grateful. When there's a prayer in the church and they say, praise the Lord, your praise will be greater. Because it's based on concrete reason. When there's a joke and it's your turn to laugh, you laugh better. The key is that save and save and save until you are safe. Save and save and save until you are safe. And when do you become safe? When you transfer savings to tangible investments. That's what we're going to deal with next month. The link between saving and investment, so that we can all have that link and get the message and get the process. You go from saving to investment and come from investment to savings and go back to investment and go back to savings and go back to investment. You get the idea? That is the trip. Prosperity is about conserving what has been saved. That is, to keep the kept. What you have kept, you keep it. We were told that 10% is for you. And that 80% is for them. So you must not take a portion of that 10% that is for you to join the 80%. That is where the problem is. That is the philosophy we are not getting. That we should love ourselves to keep what belongs to us with us, not with them. People do for us all manners of benefits, services. They send shavers for our hair, dresses, stocks, pints, cars, homes, teaching our children. 80% is enough for them. The 10%, don't use it to pay rent. Organize the 80% so that it can be enough. That 10% is for it to grow so that when it grows and matures, it will come back to save you. Many people here today will have earned or owned, if all the money that has come to you is added from the time you were born. A few of us here, we were giving money during our naming ceremony. Let's assume that the money was kept for us. And all the money uncles gave us was thrown into the same basket. And as we begin to work, 10% we kept in the same bucket until we are 30. Imagine how much that money will be worth today. And or some of us who are 40, the money we have been collecting all these days, where did they vanish into? Will this not be tremendous worry that the philosophy needs restructuring? It is not Nigeria that needs restructuring. It is not how much we earn that will lead us to prosperity. It is how much we keep. Especially how much we keep keeping. So, prosperity is keeping what is kept. It is letting the kept stay kept. With the mind that this thing you are keeping will lead into investment. And the investment will lead into prosperity. In those days, when I was saving, I used to see people around me that needed help. Out of the money that I was spending, I would help them. If there was somebody that needed my saving to survive, the person will die. Even me, I would not touch the money for anything. This is not to suggest that we should not be kind. We should be reasonable. This and our goal is to be generous. When we keep it, share. The saving is the seed. If we fling it, there is no way you can help the poor by becoming one of them. The stronger you become, the more you can help. I know a lot of people have questions. That's why I'm going through all of this. Okay. How do we attract wealth? How many people know that money attracts more money? Of course, we have been told all our lives that the rich get richer. How many people know that this principle is also true? The opposite is true. That the poor get poorer. The more you have, the more you tend to have. The more you lack, the more you tend to lack. So why not begin the process of prosperity? We have mentioned it many times that if you have no money, you cannot prosper. How many people know that? If you have no money, if you are not keeping money, you cannot prosper. It starts with little. That's why there's a saying that they always mention regarding me. Where kitty? How many people understand that? How many people don't understand that? Let me see if we don't understand. Where kitty means little by little it goes into bulk. That is understandable. When you gather little, when you add it together, they said the original purpose of inventing the calculator is to count money. Many people don't touch calculator. Every day I touch calculator, not to count money, but to count how much I can make next. You save, the more money will come to you to be saved. And the opportunity to save will come through you. There's a Chinese proverb that says, make happy those that are near, and then those that are far will come. Make happy those that are near, and then those that are far will come. Meaning that keep more and more of the little money around you. Gather, if there's any benefit in the broom of APC, is to gather all your money together. And then more will come to be gathered. More will come to be gathered. More will come to be gathered. And then rich, to be wealthy is relative. But the key is that it's a journey that has no end. Once you begin, if they say you are going to be a billionaire, I'm going to be a billionaire, what it says is that you must never slow down. If you are going to trek from Lagos to Daura, how many people know that it's possible? You will get there. But it will take long. But the majority of us, the problem is that we stop at Ibadan. We coach tiredness into ourselves. We coach okayness into ourselves. We say, it's okay. A number of people say, when you are 60, stop moving. When you are 80, stop. A lot of people count all of these negative recommendations. If you keep on keeping on, you will get your destination. Our problem is that will stop along the way. So this is law number 6. To prosper, it is not how much you earn, it is how much you keep that leads to abundance. Is it not simple? Is it not simple? This is a corollary of this. How many people know that banks, financial statement, they talk about turnover? How many people have heard about turnover before? If you have high turnover, bank will love you. Is it not true? If your turnover is low, bank won't bother about you. How many people know that? Because they have limited energy and they conserve all the energy on people who know where they're going. So what we are saying, how many people have heard about sinking fund? Sinking fund. That is a portion of your profit that is kept. Saving is to a person what sinking fund is to a business. What treasury is to government. What capital base is to a bank. The more of these factors, the more stable the organization is. So, there's a sinking fund. Without sinking fund, high turnover is worse than useless. You are earning a lot of money and you are not keeping a portion regularly. Soon, the money will stop coming. Soon, the money will stop, because whatever will not grow will decline. Law number 7. Expenses tend to rise to meet income. How many people have heard about that before? If your earning is 100,000 per month, and then you are living in Okeado, if it rises to 200, your taste will change. How many people know that? Meaning that the expense will rise once your income rises. They call it expenses tend to rise to meet income. So that's why they say the key to prosperity is to violate Parkinson's law, to make sure that expenses do not rise with a rise in revenue. And then that is why they said to arrest expenses is to prosper. To arrest, that is coming and say no to expenses. It will allow the money. It's approaching. It's another law from the other end of law number 5 or number 6. Number 6 is talking about the portion that is 1%, the 10%. This is talking about the portion that is supposed to be 80%. Because you have to balance the disbursement of your revenue. 10% to charity, 10% to savings, 80% to you and your family, and your relative, and your town, and your village. But this factor will change Once your revenue gets to a that you must start once the principles are not established. The law that necessary expenses, oh, this one is necessary, I have to do this one, I have to, are the enemy of prosperity. What we call necessary expenses are our greatest foe. So they said, watch any new thing on adverts. I said no. People will come and say, come and buy this. That is another enemy. Another person will come and say, this thing is for cough and catarrh. Sleep on it. You have your best sleep ever. No, it's not true. If you owe money, there's no amount of pillow that can solve your problem. You will still be unable to sleep. Especially if the person you owe is cruel. You must seek to kill expenses or it will kill you. No enemy is small. No enemy is small. A great hole, a small hole, will sink a great ship. No enemy, every enemy is deadly. So here is the recommendation. You shall increase your saving with every new income. Of mind is a change of attitude. I have included 10 wise sayings so that we can get bigger and better ones later. It's not the purpose of service. Then how come we don't save? When we know that if we don't buy things now, and we accumulate the money over, it can let us get better things and bigger things later. That is what they call delaying gratification. Number two, you are robbing your future self. Number three, beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Number four, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Number five, he who buys what he does not need steals from himself. It's a Swedish proverb. And it is said that you must always separate your needs from your wants. This is absolute need. This is fancy. In the beginning, you cannot afford fancy. You may afford it later. Concentrate only on your needs. There are very few. Never buy wants. Number six, the more your money works for you, the less you have to work for money. The more your money works for you, the less you have to work for money. And our purpose in acquisition of wealth is to ensure that we allow money, we delegate work to money. I told you about this factor when I said at the 50th year that I started my first hospital, I started getting away from the practice of medicine. I had enough people. I started early in the morning when everybody is supposed to sit in the consulting room. You will see me in Abacus. You might see me in Crown Marshal Bank, Forum. God just saved me from Forum. I withdrew my money the next month. Newspaper brought out that Forum had crashed. I will have crashed. Forum had crashed and many people perished with it. Many people. Because it was doubling money. And one of the very few that came out alive was myself. For a few months, it doubled. We kept doubling money. After some time, I negotiated with a bank because I knew that finance house was not stable. But the lure for more pushed me there. I went there, but I kept, some of the time, I would not sleep in the night. The day I took my money away from Forum, I slept better. All the time, God will be telling you, go and do that thing, go and remove it. You might not hear it like that, but discomfort, that is feeling, most of the time, is a potent message from God. Feeling. You feel uncomfortable. You feel irritable. Something will be telling you, hey, you will crash. Number 7. It is not your salary that makes you rich or poor. It is your spending habits. A lot of people say, if you are collecting salary, you will not be rich. There are many poor people among self-employed. How many people know that one? Many self-employed people, they can barely eat. Is it the salary that's killing them? Of course because they are not collecting salary. It is philosophy. It is habit about money. Dangote have employees. Some of them collect billions. Are they not salary? Far too many people, poor people, far too many people among those in self-employment. Salary is innocent. That's just what I just explained. Number 9, money can't buy happiness. What can poverty buy? Nothing. So we must not romanticize poverty. We must not give reason or excuse to spend a minute with poverty. Finally, the key is use what you have. Do what you can. God bless you. Thank 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 you. Please be seated. We have 20 minutes for interactive. How many people have considered one or two things to do as a result of this seminar? How many people have written that down? You have to write down what you want to do. It's very important. That is the key to seminars. That is why you come here. What are you going to do today, this week, this month, this year, so that you can change your philosophy, so that you can take an action you have never taken? Emerson said it well. He said, sow a thought which we have sowed in your mind now. Sow a thought and you reap an action. Sow an action and you reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character. Sow a character and you reap a destiny. I can confirm to you that the destiny of prosperity is a very pleasant destiny indeed. And it is possible. It's possible for everyone. Okay. Question? Yes, yes, sir, yes. Who is going to be our, no, there's a second. Let's put our hands together for him.
All right. So I have the interest to join a mastermind group, and I don't know what to do. I don't know the steps I'm to take to join, to be a part of a mastermind group. So that's one. The second question that I have is on savings. So I, for since I've been since I been attending the seminar, I've been indoctrinated to this savings club. So, and it's one thing that I've been trying all my best to practice. However, before now, till last year, I've been putting my little fund in treasury bill, mutual fund, but suddenly last year, it wasn't the way it used to be. The rate crashed, and it's just more, I don't see it as a wise decision to put the little fund in those channels anymore. So the question now is that, looking at the devaluation of naira, the inflation rate currently around 13% or so, and the percentage, the rate that we are getting from treasury bill is far less. So how can we keep the value of money? Like, how can we at least preserve the value of the saved fund, such that even if it is, at least the value will still be retained as one continues to save? That's the first question that I have. And also, the next question is, as a starter, you mentioned, we've read in your books, you've also stated it, and you also emphasized it again today, that the first years you saved around 34 million naira, and that was then 34. So now that was even then. So as a starter now, like, what do you encourage young starters like us to have in mind as end goal? Like, how much do we have in mind that, okay, at least before I put this money into an investment to cross from that bridge of poverty to prosperity, like, how much exactly do we need to have in mind? Looking at 34 million around then, now, it's, thank you very much, sir.
What he has said is a summary of what might possibly be in the mind of many people. Let's start with the question on mastermind. There are two things you can do about mastermind. Either join the one you know about, or form your own. So if you can't join, then form. How many friends do you have? How many friends do you have? You can begin the journey with some of those who are sincere, but they are sincerely poor. You understand now? Gather them together and let them know that they can be rich. Some of the time, by teaching other people how to secure what you want, you get it faster. Do you know that? So gather people, give them books, read this book, and let us meet. You know, there's no point being sincerely poor. You understand? When you are very honest, but you are not taking the steps that leads to prosperity, you'll be poor honestly. You understand? Then that is not good for you. Nobody is saying that you should deceit. You should be deceitful. But Being a nice person is good. Being a nice poor man should never be your dream. You understand now? So I've shown you the pathway, one of which is to create people like yourself among your friends. The starting thing is that if you give them books and they enjoy it, the next one they may want to buy for themselves. That is one. Sit down, please. Number two, the second question was weather. The weather of that weather means something that happens to everybody. If it's raining, it rains on all of us. If it's hot, we are all hot. If there's a crash in interest rate, it affects everybody that has money in the bank and everybody that has no money in the bank. You understand now? So it affects everybody. It is better when there's a crash that affects everyone for you to be among the few people who have money in the bank than among those who still suffer the same effect and you have no money in the bank. Can you see the thing? That is, there are two evils. You pick the lesser of two evils. Do you understand what I mean now? There is a snake. There is fire. The snake is big, the fire is big. And then you have to do arithmetic quickly to say whether to jump in the direction, and that is the road of escape. This is the exit. Snake is there. The other exit, fire is there. Which one will you jump into? I think snake can sympathize with you. But you must, anyway, that is theory. But you must realize that long before the government policy pushed the interest rate down, you have been saving. What it means is that possibly that was the time for you. Anything that happens, come to help us if you find the lesson in it. Everything that happens, some of them will appear to be punitive in effect. But when you examine them again, you might see the opportunity that such a calamity carries. You understand? So, what should you have done when that thing happened? You should have pumped all the savings back to what generated the savings, the investment, the job you did that created the savings. You push back so that the job can appreciate. Do you get what I mean now? That's what you should have done. And of course, that was what I did. In March, year 2020, it became obvious that the downward trend of the 1% will go worse. That it might even go to 0.5. There was no movement. Meaning that the economy was upside down. What did I do? And I had money in the bank that I've been putting together for a few years. And then sitting in front of my house crying is not an option. So we had 2 land then. one academy house where we did our seminar in Abeokuta. There was a land next to our hospital in Old Ife Road. I carried some bricklayers to Abeokuta, do rooms there, and let me call it hotel. You understand now? I removed all the money from the bank. Share Oyo State, Ibadan, suffered no lockdown. We had no lockdown, so we could both go to the bank. The bank, my money in Lagos, in the account in Lagos, I could withdraw it here. So I withdrew everything, pumped it on Abeokuta. Because it was plenty, and then I could not wait for the Abeokuta to spend all on Abeokuta. It's better to spread all on two, because it was plenty. I started the Old Ife Road. We started developing. It is, okay, by August, that of Abeokuta completed. And we put that to the use of our guests. The money they now pay us is more than 20% that I missed at that time. But this time, about 20 people there are employed there, eating, that will have become area boys and area girls. Can you see the development of economy in that sense? Then the same thing happened. This month, the one of Old Ife Road completed. We have not rested since that March of last year on Ife Road, but it's completed. It's completed. What I mean by that is that it's not totally completed, but it's complete enough to let in guests to enjoy themselves. Then the rest will complete itself with the funds that they bring. You understand now? But all along, I kept savings. I kept saving. One of the importance of saving is what they call opportunity money. So we had 93 rooms hotel, meaning that we might need car park for 100 cars. You understand now? So I kept saving money. We're doing the thing. We're saving money. The money we're using for the project, we're using it. The money that was being pushed into savings. Then the space we had for car park, 20 cars. Along the line, somebody just came to tell me that the house behind us, the land behind us, 2.5 plots, they wanted to sell it. So what do you say? Is that not an opportunity? Have you seen the value of continuous savings? That is not only for interest. So what did I do? I said they should go and investigate. Because most of the places, I don't go to face people who sell houses. Because they get to know you too often. You send somebody. Go and investigate. They mentioned the amount, which was a lot. I said, okay, negotiate to this amount. They negotiated, they agreed. The third day, we paid. Why do we borrow money? Because the day you need it, it is too late to save. The day you need the money, it is too late to save. That's why we start running haircut and scatter. So there's no explanation you can use to convince anyone that for one reason or the other you shouldn't save. It doesn't make sense. Do you agree with me? You always need to save. Whether it is not because of the interest or the valuation, because the day you will see opportunity for advancement, the money will not be there. And it might be the only money you need. But if you don't have it, another person will buy it. You understand what I mean now? And then they told me that somebody was planning to buy the plot of land. 2 weeks later, he went to the landlord that he's ready to pay. He said, it lasted for 3, because the houses, real estate, in prominent locations, hot cake, highly inflammable. It will burn, pop, it's gone. But you must never forget that when you are saving alone is not wise. You must be reading. Savings will equip you to take advantage of the opportunity and ideas you find in the books. If you are not reading the books, ideas cannot jump on you. The greatest source of ideas will come when you are renewing your mind. And that is the process of reading. We touched on that last month. Any other question? Have I answered your question? Have I answered your question? Okay, it's okay. What? Target saving. What is target? I think it's cigarette that was target. It's a function of your ambition. It's a function of your current revenue. You understand now? If I tell you how much I save and recommend it to you, it might not be good for your health. You understand? Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, thank you, Doctor, for your time and your investment on us for many years. I just want to ask these few questions. Just one, I think it's just about one question. Theme on saving. Haven't told us about the strength of masterminds. I think I got that from Think and Grow Rich, and then you still hit on it today. But this time around, picking real people that you can relate with. And that the journey to wealth is an endless journey. It's ageless, so we just keep pushing. The follow-up to this important presentation you gave us I think should be on building up investment portfolios based on money saved. I'm thinking, if we have a sinking fund, as we save, we have a sinking fund for those of us who have business or personal savings accounts for those of us who intend to save for whatever goals we are looking at. What are the indices that can make us push out some of these funds, and at what percentage should our sinking fund never go to in terms of depleting it for either investment or considering any potential opportunities that avail us as we say?
Thank you so much. Usually, what is asking is that your savings, at what percentage of your savings should go into investments? And then, what percentage of your savings should go into further investments? And then further investments still. I think, again, this is subjective. It's a function of how much you have, how much you save, and how much you generate, and then how much the worth of the opportunities at your disposal. You understand now? Some of the time, you might have, let's say, 10 million in your current savings. And the opportunity that is in front of you is demanding 80% of that, 8 million. If we think the 8 million will give you more money than the 8 million in the bank, you take advantage of the opportunity. But the 8 million should do his job. If he doesn't do his job, that is money lost. You understand? It might be 5 million. It might be 2 million. But it should not be 10 million. You must not empty your reserve. You must never empty your reserve. When you have no money and you have income, some of the time, problems can come that will destabilize you or unorganize you. And then you will not carry the capacity to think coherently because of the magnitude of the problem. But the more money you have in reserve, the calmer your spirit will be. It calms the spirit. You understand? It lets you feel courageous. So you must not forget some spiritual attributes, spiritual blessings that will come from keeping money in the bank. There's a Yoruba saying that Ailowo lowo Baba Ijaya. That is, the father. Let me think. Ailowo lowo, that is poverty. The father of fear. You agree with the fact that fear and poverty, or poverty are bedfellows, you know. Alowo lowo baba for you, that the more money you have, the more you tend to, is it courage, fearlessness, pride, arrogance. Of course, arrogance and all of those are negative traits. There are positive varieties to that as well. You appear, you feel more secured. You get the idea. So those are the things you have to weigh. There's no absolute figure or percentage. But most of the time, when you allow yourself to think early in the morning, when you have the most energy, you know, decision requires energy. The higher your energy, the higher the quality of decision that will come from you. And the time you have the highest energy is in the morning. Especially after you have raised the level of your energy with inspirational books, motivational books. At that time, even in the middle of the reading, the solution to many problems will come. You jot them down. The correct approach, the correct decision to make on many issues will come. And some of the decisions we will make will have been made yesterday, but with new energy, you will see the folly behind the decision you made in the evening. On the average, they said after 2 o'clock, stop making important decisions. Sleep over it. The morning period is the best time to make the best decision that can affect your life or affect the lives of the people in your circle of influence. You get the idea? Thank you. Any other question? Yes.
Sir, please, while you were speaking, you shared your experience about how you withdrew your money from a particular financial institution, and 1 month after you withdrew it, the bank folded up. So my question is, I've been saving for close to 2 years now. So is there a way to predict if a bank is going to fold up? And then, sir, you talked about how you had a particular banker that was watching over your own money. So are we supposed to, like, to have a banker that would maybe be paying specially so that they can watch over our money and nothing is going to happen to it and all that? So, I don't know if there's a way to predict if a bank will fold up soon also.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You see, it's a risk. Putting your money in any bank, in any business, is a risk. You understand? The more you read, the less you make calamitous risks. Knowledge about, you see, at that time, you must remember that banks failing was the trend at that time. That was why I was expecting the thing to happen. But it's not a trend at this time. You understand now? I think the way it is now, there is so much insurance, so much this thing to protect the investment of people in banks and financial houses. A lot of financial houses now, they compel them to deposit a lot of money. You understand now? Many banks, it's a minimum deposit so that they could give such money to settle depositors. You get the idea? So things are more sane